Okay, me again, back again. Got a good topic. I think it's a good topic. It's probably a topic that's only relevant. Well, it is a topic that's only relevant to a percentage of the population. Introverts' money formula. Some people are raving extroverts. Some people are, um, very introverted. And then you've got this other group in the middle. They're a bit of both, you know. I think they call them ambiverts. Ambiverts. Ambiverts, yeah. So if you're an ambivert or you're an extrovert, you may find this helpful. I've used it. I've used this little method to build my online presence, my online business over the last 12 years. So stay tuned. Now, who have we got? Who have we got before I get started? Erin Frost. I don't think I've seen you on the call before. That's great. Alicia, hi Alicia. Haven't spoken to you for a while. Adam, yeah, hi Adam. Taz and Mike. G'day Mike. Taz, Barbara Lee, hi Barbara. Natalie Michelle. Well, yes, we know Natalie's story very well, so I think this might be very apt for you. Taz, yeah, hi Taz. Sorry. Mark, hi Moz. Hi Moz. Oh dear, it's Friday morning for me. Yeah, hi Mark, how are you? Good to see you again. Megan, my good friend Megan. Adam, Connie, hi Connie, definitely not an introvert, but she may be able to help some of her more introverted clients. Okay, yeah, all right, okay, that's great. I assume you can hear me fine. Now, before I start the topic, we'll only go for 10, 15 minutes, say 15 minutes, something like that. We'll just do a quick snapshot with these Facebook Lives, not an in-depth training, fair enough. Yeah, I'm a digital nomad now. I was based in Australia for a long time. I started online marketing in 2006. And for the last 5 years, I've been traveling. I've been sort of doing the bucket list thing, right? So at the moment, I'm in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. I came here 3 years ago with the intention of maybe staying here for 3 months, and I'm still here. But it has some attractions, by the way. Have you ever thought of coming over to this part of the world? Make sure you make a visit to Cambodia. And if I'm still here, come and look me up and we'll have a cup of coffee or something like that. But I find it a very interesting country. It's a little bit eccentric. It's a little bit strange, but some would say it's very strange. But it's endlessly fascinating. Endlessly fascinating. They've got a tremendous history here. Not all good. Not all good. They had the 1975 Pol Pot rode into town, and basically him and his Khmer Rouge outfit of misfits just decimated the country, decimated the economy, and 4 years later, before the Vietnamese came in to kick them out, 4 years later, about 2 million people were dead. So it's there's still the lingering effects of that period for sure. I see it. I see there's still a lot of damaged people here from that era. But it's endlessly fascinating. The people are incredibly resilient. They're industrious. The economy is booming. So lots of good things happening. And I do love the French influence as well. I'm really into that. So that's a bit about me. Let's talk about this topic. Before I do, let me check in again, see if there's anybody else I can welcome. Natalie says it is worth the visit to Cambodia. No doubt about it. I was only thinking about it before this call, all the different experiences that I've had over the last 3 years being here. And the culture, although it's right next to Vietnam and Cambodia, it's sandwiched between, and Thailand, it's sandwiched between those two countries. Culturally, in many ways, it's quite different. Even the people look different. If you go to Vietnam, very much Oriental Chinese. They look very Chinese to me. Whereas in Cambodia, you see all these different influences like Indian influences, Malay, indigenous, as well as Chinese. So it's a little bit of a melting pot, nothing like Australia, but a little bit of a melting pot. As I said, endlessly fascinating. Okay, what else? Who else have we got here? Someone? Yeah, Peter. Hi, Peter. Haven't seen you for a while, mate. Great. Jean, hi Jean. Gina, dear Gina, hi Gina. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about this topic, introverts, money formula. All right, I confess, I am an introvert. Now, this doesn't mean to say that I don't like talking to people. On the contrary, I love talking to people, interesting people. I'm big on conversation. I love to have a good conversation with somebody that is sort of on my wavelength, you know, and yeah, I love it. I'm a very good listener, and that's one of the hallmarks of an introvert. They're great at listening, and as a consequence, they're often quite good at problem solving because they can listen intently, and then maybe if there is a problem that coming from the person they're talking to, maybe they can offer some suggestions and basically be helpful. So that's it. Now, when I started online in 2006, I had a couple of problems. One was that I had an aversion to talking to people on the telephone. Always more of a face-to-face guy, okay? And this whole idea of internet marketing, generating leads online and then phoning them offline, which was the deal with this particular program that I joined, that was kind of anathema to me, right? But as the person who introduced me to the business, as she said, well, look, you're going to be generating leads from all over the country and perhaps all over the world. You can't just jump in the car and go and see them because they could be thousands of miles or kilometers away from you. So you're just going to have to embrace the use of the telephone. So I did that. I made the decision, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to be in a position that I can quit the rat race within a few months, which was my goal, I'm just going to have to do whatever it takes, right? And so I joined, and I got involved with the phoning of leads, and it was very nerve-wracking for the first week or so. But by the end of the second week, I was starting to feel better about it, okay? And rather than embrace their technique, which was more or less to pitch people on the phone after the lead had been generated, I decided to take more of a consultative approach because I think for people like me, that is definitely the best way to go. Because number one, we're good at listening. If we hone our intellectual capacity, we can become very good at asking questions and asking the right questions, incisive questions. And so I just kind of harnessed those core attributes that I had and used them on the telephone. And I took a consultative approach, as I said. My objective was to be helpful. If we did business at the end of that process, well and good. If not, at least I put a smile on their face and I felt good about, the experience anyway. So that is definitely part of the formula for me. That was part of the formula for me. And as a result of becoming proficient at talking to people using this kind of a philosophy or method, just a couple of weeks later, there was enough money being generated from commissions that I could say, well, I created a full-time income in my first month. Not a spectacular income, but it was about $9,000 in Aussie dollars, about $6,500 US dollar, based on the exchange rate at that time. And so back in 2006, that represented a full-time income, at least in my book. And so I thought, right, this method is working for a little old me, kind of shy in some respects. It's working. So what am I going to do in month 2? I'm going to do exactly the same thing. And that's what I did. I did exactly the same thing. And lo and behold, my income by the end of the month had almost doubled. I couldn't believe it. It was astonishing to me because I wasn't pitching. I wasn't doing any of that. I was just being helpful. I took a consultative approach, found out what their problems were, found out what their issues were, and I just, instead of having the agenda, I've got to make a sale, I decided I've got to take the pressure off me. I just take the pressure off me completely, and all I'm going to focus on is a good outcome for the person that I'm talking with, a good outcome. And sometimes I told them, I said to them, I said, look, I don't think this is going to be a good fit for you. Here is my suggestion. And then I pointed them in the right direction. Go and talk to someone else or go and do some other thing, right? And that sort of worked. And obviously it did work because the results proved it, you know. And then in month 3, I had another healthy increase, about another 50% increase in income. So by the end of that 3rd month, it was about $25,000 that I'd earned in that 3rd month, and just by came as a result of generating leads in the first instance. That's obviously important, because if you haven't got people to talk to, what's the point? But then converting those leads, how am I going to deal with those leads? Me being a bit on the shy side, not a natural salesperson at all, right? Well, I just said, right, all I'm going to do is focus on outcomes for the person I'm talking with. And if some business flows back to me, great. If not, no problem. My conscience is clear. I'm doing the right thing here. And I know that sooner or later, some people will want to do business with me. And my hunch was, right, even in the early stage there, my hunch was that if I took this approach with people, they would have more confidence in me and they'd tend to lean forward. And that is exactly what happened. And then some of them decided, hey, I like this guy. I want to do business with this guy. If there's any way I can do business with him, you know, I'd like to do that. And if you can engender that kind of thinking or that kind of you know, philosophy or communication strategy in the minds of the people that you're talking with, you'll find that business will just flow. It'll happen. Take the pressure off. Don't be focused on making a sale. Just be focused on doing good stuff, being helpful. Sure, you have a commercial sensibility about you. That's important as well. But I just think that, you know, even if you're not an introvert, by the way, this approach works well. You just got to perhaps temper your natural desire to kind of push and hustle a little bit. If you can temper that, you'll probably find that you'll have a smile on your face at the end of the month or whatever. Now, let's see what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, Adam. Hi, Adam. Oscar. Hi, Adam. Good to see you. Vernon. Same. Great. Welcome. Peter. Now, coming from Peter's a guy I respect enormously. Love the mindset you use with your phone calls. Your helpful approach with no pressure explains why you have been so successful. Thank you. And Peter is definitely an extrovert. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, he uses these kinds of methods anyway, always being helpful. So it's good to have validation from someone like that. Okay, so what other thoughts have I got here? All right, now another thing that I've written down is that if you're a little bit on the shy side, a little bit on the introverted side, why don't you embrace attraction marketing principles? Attraction marketing principles. So even when it comes to generating leads, if you can get people to lean forward and become a lead for you, that's got to be better than you constantly reaching out. Let's say you're looking at Facebook. Yeah, you can pitch people on Facebook. You can prospect on Facebook. You can do all those sorts of things. But it is often better if you can get people to lean forward and make an inquiry. You know, they become a lead for you automatically. And there's all different ways of doing it, but one way is to get good at copy, writing copy. Okay, so writing what we call a lead generation post. If you can get good at that, writing a piece of content that stimulates your audience to lean forward and say, yes, please, more information, right? Attraction marketing, attract people to you. If you can do that, if you can get good at that, become a student of the written word and of course, the spoken word, video, Facebook Lives, all part of the mix there. But I think it's very good for people to practice written word first up, text-based, get good at it, get good at copywriting, become a student of it. That's what I did years ago. I became a student of copywriting. And I'm still a student. I'm still learning. I don't claim to know it all. But I don't know how many leads I've generated from my copy, not just on Facebook, but from my emails and, you know, blog posts, videos on YouTube, etc. But it would be thousands of leads, and it all comes from words, your communication strategy. So attraction marketing, if you can get people to lean forward to you, wow, makes it much easier. You're not having to push. You can just do your natural thing. Now, what else have I got here? Generate, generate inbound leads, which is what I just said, and then and talk to people. Now, I know, 100% dead set, dyed-in-the-wool introverts. They don't want to talk to anybody. Okay, I got a problem with that. I do. I have a problem with that. The worst aspect of my personality is that I could just sit behind a computer and never engage with people. All I'd be doing is writing blog posts and sending emails, right? Doing emails to my list and all the rest of it. But I think what I just decided was that I become a lesser person if I succumb to the worst aspects of my personality. So I decided early on that I had to engage with people, even if it was uncomfortable during that early stage. I have to engage. But as I said, what I decided was that it's better if I can get people to lean forward and make an inquiry to me. That is much, much easier than me having to almost cold call or pitch people, that kind of thing. So that was my solution. Introvert solution: get people to lean forward. If they lean forward, even if you're uncomfortable in the early stages about talking with people, do it anyway. Sometimes you just got to force yourself. And after you'll probably find that after you've done it a few times, you realize, hey, this is kind of good. This is kind of fun. And hey, I'm getting better at it, and I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. And if you get better at doing something, you start to like it. That's my attitude. You start to like it. And if you focus on having interesting conversations with interesting people, doing it in a commercially oriented way, that is important. We don't just want to be having mindless conversations necessarily. So, but if we can get that happening right, and just focus on having good conversations with people, practice our listening skills. You should have good listening skills. Sooner or later, within a month, maybe 2 months or something like that, you're probably going to start getting a result in terms of converting lukewarm leads to hot leads, and converting hot leads to sales, new signups, new members. It does work. And let me say this: some of the most successful entrepreneurs on the planet, past and present, have been screaming, raging introverts. Okay? And you may be able to, some names may come to mind right now, but I'm thinking even somebody like Bill Gates, he has identified himself as an introvert. Warren Buffett, same. Even Steve Jobs. Now, he was a very driven personality, but he wasn't a social person. He didn't do much socializing. He wasn't a party goer or anything like that. He liked to be at home when he wasn't working. Okay, so there are lots and lots of examples of introverts who, through as a result of their drive and their ambition and their passion, they overcame it and they went on to become very successful. So if you are a little on the quiet side, use that. Maybe you need to work on your desire and your passion and your dream and your goal, right? And then when that happens, you tend to just get better at doing something and you overcome any little foibles that you might have. So that's basically it. It's not kind of a structured formula, but basically all I'm saying in summary is that, number one, get into the habit of practice attraction marketing. People leaning forward, asking you. If you can get people to do that, that would be awesome. That's number one. Number two, practice your listening skills using, whether it's text-based communication, voice-based, doing phone calls or messenger voice calls or something like that. Practice your listening skills, and above all, be helpful, but do it in a commercially oriented way. Okay, so you're not going to be necessarily pitching or hustling people or anything like that, but you can guide a conversation. And if it means that translates to more business for you, great. If not, okay, you've helped somebody, and thumbs up to you. All right, so that's the topic, a little mini version of it. Anyway, it's not a full training, but Yeah, hi, Oscar. Sanjeev, hi, Sanjeev, how are you? Yeah, Natalie says, I like talking to other people, just not good at starting the conversations. If they started, I can really get talking as I can always find things in common. I have been forcing myself to do it when I go help a friend at vendor events, but it still feels very uncomfortable. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that completely. And yeah, I resonate. I resonate with you. Starting the conversation, yeah, that can be difficult. Maybe just say hi or something like that. When I used to go to networking events, I hated it, by the way. Absolutely hated it. But I forced myself to go to networking events years ago. And what I would do is I just get into the habit of saying hi to a minimum of 5 people for the night. Hi there, how are you? Something like that. Hi there, how are you? Hi there, how are you? And then sooner or later, someone would give me a big smile, and they'd kind of lean forward and put their hand out and want to shake my hand. And then I just start asking them questions once again, because I'm good at asking questions, right? I'm good at asking questions, and they start talking about themselves. Fine, I'm good at listening. And then maybe a bit of reciprocation kicks in, and they start asking me a few things. Yeah, we just got to force ourselves sometimes. But as I said, what I find is that when we do it, like even when I came back from holiday, when I was phoning a lot of leads, I mean, I phoned 10,000 of the damn things over, that sounds bad, but you know what I mean. I phoned over 10,000 leads since 2006. I don't do much now because I just, I'm highly selective about who I spend my time with on the phone. That's the bottom line. But back then I was just phoning leads. The leads would come in, I'd spend money on ads, I'd get leads from other methods, and then I'd phone them, right? And so that was sometimes 30 leads a day, 30 leads in the morning, that type of thing. But what I found, I forgot what I was going to say. Jeez. What was I saying? Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. It might come back to me, but yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. How's the? Anyone got any jokes we can share? Oh dear. Charles. Hi, Charles. How are you? How are you, mate? Yep. All right. Okay. Any more thoughts there from extroverts or introverts on this topic? And I guess that most people who will listen to a thing like this are going to be more like introverts, but there's a lot of people who are ambiverts. As I said at the beginning, you're a combination, somewhat extroverted, but also there's a sort of a quieter side to you as well. So yeah, I come from a long line of introverts. So my mother was a much worse than me. She was an introvert. Her father was an introvert. His father or mother was an introvert. It's crazy stuff, but that's just the way it is, Okay, Natalie, I know that feeling. Yeah, that's probably what I forgot what I was going to say there. Okay, any other thoughts on the topic? It's quite an interesting topic. Obviously it only resonates with a slice of the population, but there does seem, what I've noticed is there does seem to be a lot of people, ambiverts or introverts who get attracted to internet marketing. And I think that one of the reasons they get attracted is because they think that they don't have to talk to people, right? So they can kind of hide behind the computer. But if you really want to maximize your success, maximize your opportunities, you need to tackle that little demon and just figure out a way of talking to people. It will make you feel better once you've done it a few times. It will make you feel better, and it puts you that much closer to the point where you're making more sales, more money. Sure, if you just sell little itty bitty little products and build up an email list, you never talk to people, you can do that. But if you want to get amongst the bigger money, probably you're going to need to start talking with people, but do it on the basis that I discussed before. All right. Okay. Well, that's it. What have we got for you today? All right. If you have not, you might consider joining my Try Builder community group. It's up to you. Doesn't matter to me either way. But it's a free group, not a paid group. And we talk about, organic strategies, using Facebook, for instance, to expand your reach, build your tribe, build your audience, your followers. We don't go into huge detail because it's only a free group, but it's a good way of exchanging ideas. There's a few videos in there you can have a look at, and you can meet other people. Yeah, try build a community. If you want the link, just say yes, or send me a personal message. So send me a personal message, or just say yes in the comments there, and I will give you the link. I will ping you on Messenger and give you the link, and you can join. And we ask a few questions. You need to answer those questions. If you don't answer them, you won't get approved. But it'd be a good group to get involved with. Try build a community. All right, I think that will do it for now. We'll move on. Keep these sessions nice and short and to the point. Have a good weekend. This is Kim Willis. Bye for now.